Hey friends, welcome back to Mustard Seed Homesteading. If you're new to my channel, my name is Megan and I'm very glad that you decided to stop by. What I do on this channel is give weekly garden tours of not just my backyard, but also my driveway garden. And I've also recently started doing Greenstock garden tours and harvests because there's just so much going on. But my hope is to show you the progress of my garden from week to week with the successes as well as the failures. Now this time we are going to not only take a look at everything that's going on up there, but my husband finally finished the new trellis and I cannot wait to show you guys. So let's get started. Okay friends, now before we go in the backyard, I wanted to give you a quick view of the green stalks because I've started harvesting some of the onions and the garlic, and so I wanted to show you what we've harvested so far, and I couldn't be more excited. So I'm going to start with the garlic real quick. Look at how gorgeous the garlic is. Now, I only did 2 green stalks, so I still have 2 more green stalks, and we are going to harvest some garlic in the backyard. Hopefully I have time to do all of it, but I'm very impressed so far with how much we've harvested just from 2 green stalks. And for some reason, those 2 green stalks not all the garlic grew. I'm not really sure why. So the other 2 are actually much fuller. So I'm looking forward to harvesting those. But you guys, look at the onions that I harvested from the green stalk. And there's still 2 more green stalks to harvest. I was absolutely impressed with the onions that grew in there. I couldn't be more happy. So I'm definitely going to be growing garlic and onion in the green stalks from here on out, but I just had to quickly show you guys the harvest so far. Other thing I thought I'd show you, it may help somebody, it may give somebody an idea. So this is the wagon that I used to go harvest, and I'm going to need it again today because we're going to harvest a lot of food, or as much as I can with you all. But what I've been doing with this wagon, because I have been so busy working back there with planting, I will put all of my little things that I need all in one spot and I will just roll it back there. Now this is from the Dollar Tree. I thought this would be perfect to separate the little tags. I have all my clips, my little tomato clips. I have my fertilizer right here. I just have everything right here and I just roll it on up. So let me empty this and we're gonna take it to the back. All right, I got my planter, it's empty. I got my basket, my pruners, and my knife. Let's go in the back and see everything that's going on. By the way, I cannot forget to show this to you guys. Do you see this planter right here? So I decided to buy the dwarf, let's see which one this one is. This is the Blushing Delight. Let's see if I can get a close-up of the name, from Stark Brothers. So what these are, they're called columnar apple trees. Now the idea of these trees is that they obviously don't get big because I have them in a pot and it's right next to my, in between my garage doors. So the idea is to grow some apples in these pots, but that they don't get too big so that I can manage them. While I would love to have an apple tree in my backyard, which I may down the road, I thought by starting off with something small would be better. Let me show you, this one is the Emerald. I just thought that starting off small so that I can get used to you know, just having an apple tree. Now I know it's not exactly the same as having a larger tree, but it would help me have, you know, a little bit of practice with working with a smaller tree first before making a huge commitment. But I just had to show this to you guys because I am super excited about these trees. And then these 2 plants are actually grapes. So I bought, I want to say they are exactly the same, or maybe not. This is the Concord grape, and then this one is the Flame seedless. Okay, now I got two different. It's been a while because I ordered this a couple of months ago. So there's another trellis, you guys. I forgot to mention earlier, there's another trellis that we bought and my husband just put up as well that we're going to be planting one on each side to grow. I cannot wait to have these up there next to the trellis and have them growing. Well, I'll show you the trellis when we get up there. Now, I thought it would be perfect before we go up there to show you everything that's been going on with the grow bag. So the asparagus is wild as ever, as it always is. I am considering moving these somewhere back there. I'm just not sure yet, but I wanted to show you the other bags because there's so much stuff growing. So most of these bags is all of my leeks, except for the ginger and turmeric. I'll show you that in a minute. But all of these are pretty much leeks, and then I put companion plants like dill and zinnia. There's arugula in the middle with zinnia and dill and lots of leeks. And it's gonna be the same over there. I'll show you those in a second. But you guys, look at the ginger and the turmeric. They're already popping out, and see, this is what I mean about it looking so tropical. I love having these plants here. I think they do so well. Ginger and turmeric for me has been easy growing in the grow bags. I've not had any issues with these. Now, if you see something like that, that was a squirrel. I don't know what he was doing, but you don't need to be over here, buddy. So sometimes they do that and I just put the stuff back. But these are growing really good. And then these, because I've been so focused on the backyard garden, everything's been growing, but I still plan to put my bushing cucumber plants here. I still have a lot of snapping peas and sugar snap peas that are growing. We could probably grab that right now. And while those are growing, my goal, just like the trellises in the back, is to put a cucumber seed in between so that those can start growing. But so far, I'm really liking this. Now, I did buy extra trellises, and I shared this before. I'm going to be doing a video this coming week on how I place these trellises in here and how I plant in here, because I think this is one of the best things I ever came up with when I bought the trellises. When I found those on Amazon and I saw how big these bags were, I had the idea to put them in here, and I have loved it so much that, like I said, I bought two more. Now, the other bags here, like I said, are leeks and dill and zinnia. It's pretty much kind of the same with these bags, but they're all doing really good, so I thought I'd show you all. And then, of course, when the leeks are ready to harvest, I think I harvested them last year in June. Sometimes leeks do really good in the beginning, kind of middle summertime for me at least. So we'll be harvesting those when they're ready. Now, I want to mention, I've never been very successful at spinach, and this one is doing exceptionally well. But this one is the Space F1 spinach, and so far I'm really liking it. It looks like it's going to flower here in the middle soon, but it's also been getting very warm, so I can understand. But I'll have to harvest some of the leaves before it starts to flower. Okay, I want to share something with you all because I love trying different varieties of snap peas. And so far, I've shared this before, the Oregon Giant is my favorite, which I think that one over there is an Oregon Giant. Or no, maybe that one. Anyways, I wanted to show you this one. So I recently tried this one. This is the Amish snap pea. When I tell you, this is by far one of the most crispiest peas other than the Oregon Giant. It is so delicious. If you can hear that crunch, oh my gosh. You guys, it is so good. I highly encourage you to try this variety. Friends, I'm gonna try one on camera for you because it's so good. Because it doesn't do it justice if you just hear me. Look at that. I don't know if you can see that. This is really good. And I'm going to be growing these again. So Oregon Giant and the Amish pea right now are my two favorite. I want to mention what's really nice about having these bags with the trellis is that I can come right outside my door for out here and just come over here and snack off of these. And then obviously when I'm back there, I have some to snack on, but it's really nice to have this right here. And you can see how they grow on the trellis. Now, it does come over the trellis, but at least in my situation, because the retaining wall is right here, which is partially why I have it here to begin with, is so that if it does, it can kind of just flow out over the retaining wall and into the grass. I don't really mind it, but I mean, this is probably going to be torn out in the next couple weeks because it's going to be summertime anyways. But I just wanted to point that out. Okay, I know this is not a Greenstock garden tour, but I just have to show you this one onion. You guys, look at how massive this is. This is massive. I'm impressed. These Greenstalks, they impress me so much. I also want to quickly mention that I do have a herb garden down here. Look at the lavender, it's so pretty. And I don't show it as much because there's so much other things that I have to show you. And I redid this a couple of weeks ago, but I still, you can see all of this is freshly strawed. I had to stop here because other things took priority and I have to do the rest of this cart and that cart. That's some garlic that I need to harvest. But I think I'm going to do a separate herb garden tour from these rolling carts because I love having this, and I think with the bags in here with individual herbs, it's been wonderful for me. So I'll probably be doing a separate video. I just want to quickly show these to you because everything is growing so beautifully here. So I almost forgot about this bed. I have been using this for the last, I want to say this is my 3rd year growing garlic in this rolling wood bed. It doesn't really roll anymore because it got rusty. It's not the best quality bed. I bought this off Amazon, which is why I don't have it listed in my Amazon products that I like. But I just keep it here and just reuse it until it falls apart on me. But I want to harvest this garlic with you all because you can see they're all like falling down. They're ready to be harvested. So that's what we're going to do real quick. And then we will go in the backyard garden. Now I want to point something out real quick because we had a lot of rain. These actually did way better than last year. I'm noticing this year both my garlic and onion harvest is even better, which is just, for me, it's a hit or miss when it comes to garlic and onion because I'm still learning how to grow them. So this year I'm super impressed that they came out better, and I'm just taking notes about what I've done differently versus the year before, and hopefully that's what helps me to keep growing good garlic and onion every year. But I just want to show you these because we've had a lot of rain, which is why I think some of them just ripped right off and came over. And I barely watered these because we've had so much rain. And I haven't watered this in a while except to fertilize it a few weeks ago. And the soil is super moist, not soaking, but super moist. And so the ones that just came off, I'll just use these first. But as I showed you in the beginning, I will just have these in my garage to dry off and then eat them fresh as much as possible. And more than likely, the way I like to preserve garlic is I will chop them up or peel them by each clove and then just freeze it and use it when I need it. So I'm very excited about this, and we have a whole bed of garlic that we actually have to harvest too. So I'm going to focus on the garlic and those pallets back there that still need harvesting. All right, let's go in the back. Now, I typically don't come up this way to the garden, but I'm glad that we did because I'm going to start showing you this side first, which is the trellis that I had shared previous. Let me park this cart because I don't know if you can tell, but it goes down like a hill. It's really hard sometimes. One time this cart that was full of all that stuff that you saw, you guys, the whole thing, let's see if it stays. Okay, the whole thing fell over and it was dark out and I had to pick up everything. It was a hot mess and it was no fun. But I did, since the last video, I put the cherry tomatoes in here. Now I might, because I still have a few left, I was hoping to find another spot to put cherry tomatoes. I might add 1 or 2 more because these are 5-gallon grow bags. I'm not really sure yet. I wanted to give it its own bag so that it had enough space for the roots, but we'll see. I haven't made up my mind yet because I'm still planting and doing things, and you know, sometimes I change my mind and sometimes I'll stick with what I thought about in the first place, but we'll see. Either way, so far everything's looking really good and I like how this is looking. I've already had to clip them on there because they're growing pretty quickly. I just can't wait to start harvesting cherry tomatoes. So we have sweet pea, white currant, Jasper F1, Artisan Bumblebee. This is my favorite cherry tomato. White cherry. Then we have sweet pea, we have midget Mexico, and we have pull cherries. So I wanted to do a bunch of different varieties just to kind of see which ones I like the most. Some of them I've done before, some of them are new, but we'll see. And then they're gonna grow up this whole entire trellis, which stops right there. Well, now that we're over on this side, I say let's go ahead and harvest that bed of garlic, and then I'll show you everything that we've been doing, plus that new trellis that my hubby put up. All right, I'm just going to put the camera down and start harvesting all of the garlic, and I will show you what it looks like as I'm harvesting. Now, one side of the bed, I put 9 cloves per square, and the other side I put 5 cloves per square to see if there would be a big difference. So let's go ahead and start harvesting. What I think would be good to do is I will pull all the garlic on this side and we'll compare the ones that had 9 per hole versus the 5 per hole. Now, not every clove grew in the square, but for the most part, I think most of them did. Sorry, I thought someone was crawling on me. And as a fly passed my face. But I'll do a comparison and I'll put the ones that had 9 per square over here and versus the 5 per square on the side. All right, let's do a quick comparison. I kind of think it doesn't really matter. Honestly, they all look like they had small and large, but you can see that this one had the 5 per square, and while some does, now they look really dirty. It's kind of hard to tell. There's some beautiful garlic under the soil, I promise. But some of them are pretty good size. Some of them are really small. So in my opinion, I think 9 per square is just fine. The more the better, because it kind of seems like the same size to me. Honestly, I feel like my wood bed down there did better. And then this one right here, you can see it's really not that different. In fact, some of these kind of look larger than the ones in the 5 square. So I don't know. I think if I were to do this again, I would put 9 per square. That's what I would do, because I'd have a better outcome, plus I can grow more in a small space. All right, now I've shared this on my last tour, but these are my little organizing planners that I bring out here. So now that I cleared this bed, I will be, and hopefully, and I'm sure by next tour, you will see that I will have this bed completely planted with some more tomatoes. These are more like sandwich tomatoes. My Martha F1s, those are my favorite tomatoes. But I just come out here with this little clipboard, and I will take this to either write something out if I want to switch something up, or if something hasn't been planted yet, try to figure out what to plant, and then use my phone because I have a list of the starts that I have left that I shared on the last garden tour. And this clipboard, by the way, you guys, is the bomb. I love this clipboard. But these are what we're going to be planting in this bed next. I also want to quickly share that I have had this on my clipboard too, and I'll go around and just fill in some spots with some flowers because it's always great to have flowers in your garden. Not only is it beautiful, but it attracts the pollinators, which is what we need to grow our food. All right, well, like I said, since we're on this side, I'm gonna just work my way from here down, and then we're going to come over here and continue to harvest off those pallets back there like we did last year. But I'm going to show you everything that I have planted back here because I have been so incredibly busy since last week, planting so much, and I have just a little bit left and I can finally kind of take a breather. But I'm going to start over here. So, and I don't think I show these as much, but I put cantaloupe. I've shared them before, but I don't show them as much. But I put cantaloupe in this bag and this bag, as well as those two. And then that is a melon. I'm not sure what that is. I was given that plant by somebody. So I want to grow cantaloupe, and my goal, like I said before in previous videos, is to let it vine out onto the ground in hopes that I can get some cantaloupe. Now, the overwinter pepper plants that I've shared before, I don't know what's going on. I'm super sad, especially this one. I'm going to give it a little bit more time, but nothing is showing. The only one that is showing is this one. And I've already grabbed that one pepper that was on there because it fell off actually. And you can see there's a ton more that are growing. I believe these are the poblano peppers. So I'm not sure why the other overwinter pepper plants aren't growing, but I had to bring them up here. I don't know where I'm gonna put them exactly. That's why they're just off to the side right here, because I needed to clear the space off my driveway. Now for this middle section with all of my 25-gallon grow bags, I had to move these down because of the new structure that I'm going to show you. But as you can see, I have rocks I've collected, and I still need to collect more rocks because I like to put them under the bags to even the bag out because the land does slope. But pretty much all of these bags are tomatoes and basil. And then because I had a few onions, I stuck them in there because they're okay as a companion plant. And I figured that with the tomatoes and the basil, as they grow, that they can kind of shadow, or shade, I should say, the onions, and hopefully they can grow. I don't know, we'll see. I'm not really sure, but I thought I'd just leave them in there because it didn't hurt. And then I put these tomato cages because I had a bunch from last year, and I just placed them in these bags. Now these two pallets originally had all of those white buckets on. Now from my last garden tour, I said I was going to be getting new bags. These are all the new bags, and every single one of them is a tomato with a basil. Now I want to say, let me see here, Marion A. Blinken. Okay, so I believe these are more of sandwich type slicing tomatoes. And then these are all of the, yes, these are all plum tomatoes. So my hope is to grow more plum tomatoes than sandwich potatoes, just because I want to make pizza sauce, spaghetti sauce. I already make a lot of salsa, but I want to make more sauces. So my hope is to grow a whole lot more paste tomatoes. And these are actually different varieties. I chose a lot of different varieties to see which ones I like. Now I love San Marzano and Martina Romas. Those are my favorite. But a few that I'm trying this year are Sheboygan. Let's see what else. In Kiarch, I'm totally butchering that name. Quadro, Amish Paste, Blush, Striped Roma, there's a Baby Roma. There's a whole bunch that I'm trying this year because I want to see what else works other than just the San Marzano and the Martina Roma. The same with back here. So these two pallets, not a lot was going on with them, except those down there is just, it's still overflowing with food, and we are gonna harvest those towards the end. But I wanted to show you these because I did replant these, except for that one we are gonna harvest from this. But all of these are more tomatoes and more basil. And except for this one is, I have 3 peppers here. And then you know what I decided to do, which I thought would be fun to try, is there is, sorry, I'm shaking the camera because there's this fly that won't leave me alone. There was a lot of basil, or I'm sorry, not basil, a lot of dill that was in the bags, and I didn't want to throw them away. And while this is not a bad companion plant for tomatoes, as they grow, the roots can overtake and crowd up the roots for the tomatoes to grow. So what I decided to do was put all the dill plants that were doing well in the middle bag so that it would act like a companion plant in the middle of all the tomatoes without it being planted next to the tomato, so that they had their own space to grow. So we'll see how it works, but that's what I did. And then I got calendula back here. Everything is just growing so beautiful back here, and I haven't had a insect cover over this, and this has been really good. I do want to tell you about the Napa cabbage real quick, and then I'll show you the rest of the garden before we come back over here to harvest. Now, there is massive insect pressure here, but you guys, this is again the farthest I've ever gotten with growing Napa cabbage, and so far it's still growing. So I'm hoping that one tour you and I can harvest something, even if it's super small like this. I don't care. I would feel so excited, and I would feel like I just accomplished something huge, because I've had such a hard time growing Napa cabbage. So far it's looking pretty good. I just want to show you guys everything, but I feel like there's just too much to show. So I'm just going to quickly show you what I've been doing. This bed also, a bunch of tomatoes as well as basil. I believe this is mostly the paste tomatoes, if I remember. Let me see. Yeah, I'm pretty sure these are paste tomatoes, and so far they're doing really good. I do need to probably start pruning a couple of them. I did prune a lot in the bottom, which that's why they look like sticks right there. But this bed is doing very well. And then you guys, I have not taken this bed down yet because everything is still growing, but I will say this. And look at the kale, it's grown even more since last time we harvested it. I found for the first time, let's see if he's on there again, there was a caterpillar on this one, but you guys, I saw a Japanese beetle. I hate those things, they're so awful. When I had my Kentucky Wonders on here, they can devastate your plant like literally within a day. And I saw one today and I was really disappointed. It is what it is. I know it happens. I just have to deal with it, but we'll see. Hopefully they don't eat everything. But you guys, this cauliflower is doing really good so far. The cilantro looks like it's getting kind of but I'll let this go to seed. I'm fine with that. But I cannot take this out of the bed. So I think what I'm going to do is try to let this go for a couple more weeks, and then try to keep my other tomato starts going, or like I said previously, just up-pot the ones that I am going to put in here, and then I'll just stagger my tomato plants because we have a longer growing season. So that's probably more than likely what I'm going to do, because I don't see any signs of these flowering. Now the first sign I see of anything flowering, I'm just going to take it all out. But I mean, everything looks really good. And I have a feeling if we get one more really good rain and a couple of cooler days, I think that I will actually have some cauliflowers. We are going to harvest some dill real quick though, because the dill is doing really good. So this is the bronze dill, and this is I think this is the flowering dill. I can't remember. This one's already flowering, which is fine. I'm just gonna let it go to seed and fall in the bed. I love volunteer dill, but we'll harvest some of this as well as that real quick. Now this cilantro seems to be doing really good. I think maybe because it's being shaded a little bit, I'm not really sure. But this is the Calypto cilantro, and I think I'm going to harvest a little bit of this. Now, since we're over here by the Martin Aromas, as well as the San Marzanos, I will say that since the last tour, I'm getting my basket and walking and talking at the same time. Since the last garden tour, these have grown quite a bit. I've already had to prune a little bit and then put some clips on there. The mammoth basil is doing amazing at the edges. But here's what I've done. I took the sugar magnolia snap peas off of the trellis because you can see all of the Kentucky Wonder green beans are growing really, really, really well. So I decided to take that off so that the green beans can start trellising. Now, when it comes to the telephone snap peas, they're growing a lot. I actually just harvested some the other day because it really needed to be harvested, and it actually looks like there's already more that needs to be harvested. But what I've noticed is some of the leaves are looking kind of sickly, and I noticed that one of my tomato plants over there had like the rust on the leaf. So I'm contemplating whether or not to just rip these out in the next couple days, just so that I don't affect any of the tomato plants. Now, I did try, and I probably need to prune a few more leaves, but like any leaves that are touching the snap peas, I've taken them off so that they wouldn't touch. And then I did try taking off some of the leaves here so that it wouldn't touch, but I don't know how much that's going to help. So I don't know. I may do that, I may not. I don't want to sit here and sacrifice my tomatoes for a few more snap peas just because the weather is warming up, and I would hate to lose any of these plants to disease because of the snap peas. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but either way, that will be coming down sometime soon. And also the onions that I put on the edges are doing really good so far. I'm happy that I put these here to try out this year, and if they do very well, I think I will be adding onions to my beds during the summertime. Look at the tomato plants. These just look so lush and so happy. We did have a lot of rain a couple weeks ago, and I know that helped a ton with a lot of the growth. Everything just grew so fast, and I'm very, very, very happy. All right, we still got the carrots growing, guys. I haven't done nothing because I have been so super busy with the garden back here. As you saw, I planted so much stuff, but I think they're gonna almost be ready. Let me show you, because I checked the other day. You can always check to see if your carrots are ready by kind of moving the soil around. So they're still kind of tiny. You can see they're still kind of tiny, but I think we can harvest these soon, you guys. And then, like I said, I've got my tomatoes ready for here. I think I can hold them off for a little bit longer, but I was just thinking about it today because I'm like, for a while I was like, man, I really wish I was able to get my tomatoes in this bed and the garlic. But I was just thinking that all of the other beds that are already planted, I'm going to get a wave of tomatoes to harvest. And then if I just delayed planting the other two beds, it'll just help me not to have to harvest too much at one time. So I'm not as, you know, I don't want to say frustrated, but I was just hoping that these would hurry and those would hurry. But I'm actually glad it worked out this way, because now I don't have to harvest so much at one time. Now, this bed is going to be my next project once I finish by the brand new trellis, because all of the broccoli, which I am going to quickly harvest some because you can see they're flowering, but they have been good. Even with a little bit of flowering, they've been perfectly fine to eat. And I think for the most part, so there's one that needs to head. I think there's like 3 or 4 that still need to head. I have a tiny little cabbage back there too, and then there's the big old Romanesco. So I'm going to harvest these 3 broccoli real quick, but for sure, all these onions and shallots are gonna stay in here until they're ready, which, oh my gosh, look at those shallots. They're so pretty. I've never grown shallots before, you guys, and these are looking really good. So those are gonna stay in there, and then I'm gonna plant the green beans around all the onions and shallots. This, by far, this bed and the other bed, what I've been doing with these have been my favorite, and I'm just going to repeat this every year. But let's go ahead and harvest the broccoli. I also forgot to mention that I planted these bags as well. Of course, all tomatoes and basil. And then those 4 bags that was originally over by the potatoes, I haven't planted those yet, but I plan to do a separate video adding the trellises in here. These are the bags that I'm using. And the reason I have them right here, I'm hoping, because we have massive amounts of water that comes through here and it trickles all the way down, I'm hoping having these bags here, I want to see how much it would help to stop because this gets super muddy, that it would stop it from getting overly muddy and watery. So we'll see, but I have these here, and then these are all planted. Oh, and then look at this little guy. So this is a volunteer tomato plant that's growing right here. I added a little bit of compost for it. And we'll see, wouldn't that be something if I could just come down my stairs and harvest a couple of tomatoes? So we'll see what happens. Now for the inside of this trellis, I still have a lot of snap peas. I don't have time to harvest these right now because I want to get back there and start harvesting some of the pallets back there, but these are doing really good. And then of course the cucumber plants are doing amazing in between. Now the same with this, I am more than likely going to have to take these down soon. It's so hard because I love snap peas, but I also love my cucumbers and I don't want them interfering with the cucumbers. So I'm not sure if by the next tour or the following tour, these will no longer be here so that the cucumbers can start to grow on the trellis. And this bed is still the same. I still have to add the green beans in here, but now you can see, well, I can grab these peas real quick. You can see the cucumber plants doing really well. And then all the onions are doing phenomenal as well. But I'm really loving this whole system that I have with the wood beds. And then the pepper plants are doing really good. Everything's growing. Now you can see the cosmos are starting to pop up, which is fun. I can't wait to see those with the peppers. I think they're going to be really pretty. And even the alyssums that I grew on the ends of the bed are doing really good. And then if you're new, I have 2 pepper plants per square, and that's because they did really well last year together, and it's just extra support for the pepper plants. You guys, look at the snapdragons. Aren't they so beautiful? And then I have zinnias in the middle. They are growing so beautifully. I couldn't be more excited. That red is so gorgeous. Look at that red. It's so pretty. So I'm very happy with these. And then those flower, well, these actually I planted, no, actually this one I think I did plant the flower one. But I planted those flower packets that you saw. And this one is called Save the Bees. So it's just a mix of a bunch of flowers. So I'm hoping that those will start popping through as well. Now for the potato palette. I do want to quickly show you, it's not ready to harvest. I'm going to pick these off. So I don't know if you're on Instagram, but I sometimes watch Pawpaw Ridge. Such a great channel. I don't know if Instagram's called channels or what, but I really enjoy watching his videos and he's super helpful. Now he says to pop these off because once they start to flower, it tells the plant to stop producing potatoes. Now, if these were completely falling over and totally yellow, then I wouldn't care. But because they're still so lush and green, I don't want it to tell the plant to stop producing potatoes. Those are mosquito bites. I have been bit so bad out here trying to plant stuff, it's not even funny. But not to get sidetracked, I want to show you one of the potatoes because I'm sometimes very impatient. I want to see if it's working. Sorry, I'm noticing little flower buds and I'm trying to pick them off because I don't want them to start to flower yet. But you guys, look at this potato. This is exciting. Where is it? Look at it. Look at the potato. I hope these work. I hope these grow bags work because I really do like these little grow bags. So you can see up close, it's all connected. There are 3 squares. They kind of don't look like squares right now, but they're 3 squares and each one is 20 gallons. And I planted the potatoes kind of further down and then added soil and straw as the plant started growing. So I can't wait to harvest this with you guys. Now for the 2 trellis structures. So this trellis structure right here is brand new, and this is where I'm going to put the grapes on each end for it to grow, and I am so excited. And then I put these little lights out here. They're little solar lights for right under the trellis, and I couldn't be more excited. So this was the first one that I wanted to show you, and then that is the next one that I'm going to show you. And here is the other pepper bed. The first one you saw over there was all of the sweet peppers, and then these are all of the hot and some sweet peppers, but everything's growing really, really good. The flowers are growing really good, so I can't wait to start harvesting peppers. Now for me, sometimes peppers take a while to grow, but I'm hoping they'll start to grow pretty quickly this year. Here's the other pallet that I did that is new. So I put the ceramic pots over here. This is all my lemon balm, and then I have a chamomile and a St. John's wort. And then the rest of these are all peppers. So these are 5-gallon grow bags, and I put 2 pepper plants per grow bag. And I want to say these are all peppers. So, and then I did put the new mullein and the ashwagandha plant in a 5-gallon grow bag as well, because as you can see, that's my other mullein plant. It's massively huge, which is why I wanted to make sure it was in a 5-gallon grow bag. But I'm really excited about this pallet, and we did finally put up 2 pieces under these pallets, just like those pallets, so that it could be leveled from the ground. And then I do want to quickly show you the sweet potatoes. They're all growing really good. They're already starting to vine here, and my hope is that it's just going to cascade down and just look really pretty. All right guys, here is the trellis. I am so excited to share this with you all. He just finished it, and we did put 2 solar lights up there as well. Now, I have shown these in the past videos, but we finally added the trellis. Now this was a bit tricky because the land slopes down, so each rod had to be pushed down differently, and the trellis had to be done differently because of the incline. But you guys, he did so good, and I am so excited. So I put all of the white buckets on here, except for the back. I had a couple more spots, so I put some fresh of the grow bags back there. And so I will be harvesting all of this and then replanting. I'm a little sad that I'm gonna have to take out all this kale, but I think I'm gonna start some more from seed and put them back there in maybe a couple weeks or another month or 2, and grow some kale during the end of summer. But I'm so excited. Now, before we go back here, I did want to show you one thing that was growing is the gourd. Look at how long it got. And I'm so glad he finished the trellis in time, because this really needed to be put on the trellis to grow, because it was growing really fast. So this was what I wanted to show you all, and I'm so excited about it. I cannot wait to harvest food off of here. Now my goal is to put the 4 loofah plants that I have and then some cucumbers so that we can harvest and grow things on this trellis together. All right, we have a lot of food back here. So this is new for me back here. I've been really liking this with the pallets back here for spring garden, because it gets a perfect amount of sun and shade. But now let's go ahead and harvest that 1 bag, and then I'll harvest as much as I can here. Not too much, because I don't want to harvest too many all at one time. All right, friends, well, I figured I'd just show you what I harvested instead of sitting down like I always do and lift it up, because this is just too much. I still have so much food down there, but I'm not going to harvest everything all at one time because I don't need that much lettuce in my fridge. But look at all the lettuce. I finally did harvest some Italian dandelion. It looks absolutely beautiful, and I'm so excited. So we have dill, cilantro, a lot of lettuce, broccoli, and a lot of garlic, and I still have 2 green stalks of garlic to harvest as well. So I'm very excited about the harvest. Well, friends, I hope that your spring garden, soon to be summer garden, is going really well. I know for me, I have been working really hard in my garden. I still have a little bit more to do, but as you can see, the fruits of my labor has been so worth the time and the effort that I have been putting into this backyard garden. I think I've maxed out my space right now, so I am overall very happy with how this garden space has been turning out, and I'm even more excited to be sharing it with you all every single week with the failures and successes, because gardening, you're always learning. I think I can speak for myself. I'm always learning when it comes to gardening. I think even 10, 20 years into gardening, I'm still gonna be learning because there's so much to learn, and you have weather, there's so many different things that can affect your gardening that you can't help. And so I'm just really enjoying taking this journey with you all and sharing my weekly progress in my garden with you, because I think gardening is such a rewarding thing for you and your family, at least for me, in so many ways. With all that being said, I really enjoy spending my time with you all in the garden, and I look forward to seeing you guys next week. And always remember, friends, I want you to be encouraged, and always stay inspired. And I'll see y'all next time. Bye. Okay, I want to show you something real quick. This is the end of the video, so I'll just put it at the very end. One of the lights are showing. We're gardening in the dark. Well, it's not technically dark. It's going to be dark, but I just want to show this to you. Let me turn around. You see the light? Ooh, right there. It's so pretty. I'm so excited about this trellis, you guys. I'll see you guys next week.